Hello everyone, welcome to the daily current affairs session on EduTap. I hope all of you are healthy and preparing well for our upcoming exams. And when we talk about the today's session, today we are going to discuss the top PIB news from the month of January 2022, and the today's topic of the discussion is India's first district good governance index. So before starting the session, if you are new to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us. And you can also join our Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of the sessions. To join the Telegram channel, kindly click on the link given in the description below. So let's move on to the session. Let's get started. And here is the topic of the today's discussion, that is the India's first district good governance index. And this is, you can see here from the headline of the PIB itself, that Union Minister of Home and Cooperation, that is Shri Amit Shah, has virtually released the India's first district good governance index. And with the release of this particular index, Jammu and Kashmir has become the very first union territory in India which is having this district good governance index, which has ranked 20 districts of the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory on the basis of the governance. Okay, so in this particular session, we have divided this particular session in various parts, in which first of all we will be discussing that which is the releasing body of this particular index, then which has prepared this particular index, then what exactly this index is all about, and in the last, then what exactly are the key rankings and the key findings of this particular index. So let's begin with the very first dimension, that is this particular index has been prepared by the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances along with in collaboration with the Union Territory of the Jammu and Kashmir. And here I want to add here that this particular index has been prepared in pursuance of the announcements made in Behtar Hukumat Kashmir Alamiya resolution. See, recently on July 2nd, 2021, there was a conference on the replication of good governance practices which was held at Srinagar. And after that, the exercise of preparing this particular index commenced. Okay, now when we talk about this particular index, then my dear learners, this index basically measures the diversity of the governance model in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. That means all the practices, the policies, the schemes, the programs which have been released and implemented by the central government or the Union Territory government in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, on the basis of that, this particular index ranks the 20 districts of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so that means here you can see as well that under the index, the policies, schemes and programs of the central as well as state governments have been monitored at the district level, and that's how it provides a roadmap to all these districts for this similar benchmarking of the governance at the district level, and it will provide them the data that what exactly on what areas these districts are required to work on and how they can replicate the performance of the other districts as well. And this is the beauty of this particular index, that it is really going to improve the governance in all these districts by comparing and by providing a comparative picture of all these districts. Okay, so when we talk about this particular index, so this index is a framework document comprising of performance under the 10 governance sectors having 58 indicators with the 116 data points. Now you must be thinking that why exactly this particular index has been launched. See, this index is going to help the district administration in identifying that impact of the various governance interventions at the district level, and it is going to provide a future roadmap in order to improve in the various areas where they are lacking on. Okay, so now before directly jumping to the key findings of this particular index, I want to tell you that on 25th of December 2021, the Good Governance Index 2021 was being released, and it was once again prepared by the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. And in that particular index, it was found that Jammu and Kashmir had registered an increase of 3.7% in the good governance indicators over the 2019 to 2021 period. And this improvement and this performance at the national level governance index also considers the significance that why exactly we have chosen Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory for the very first district good governance index. Okay, now let's move on to the most important part of this particular session, that is the important key rankings of this particular index. And when we talk about the district which was at the top of the index among all these 20 districts of the Union Territory of the Jammu and Kashmir, then this particular list has been topped by Jammu and Kashmir, which has managed to top the list in the composite rankings. And now, my dear learners, there is a small homework for all of you, and you are going to tell me in the comment section below that which district was at the bottom of this index in this composite ranking. Okay. Now, when we discuss some other rankings, then here you can see that this Srinagar district bagged the first rank in the public infrastructure and utilities sector under the good governance index. So that was all about the rankings. Here the major important part that you are required to remember is that the name of the district which has topped this particular index, and that is none other than Jammu. Okay. So that was the top performing district in this particular good governance index. Now let's move on to the key findings. See, this particular report states, and it is witnessed, that a lot of improvement has been seen in the various sectors across the districts of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Whether it was agriculture and allied sector, or it was commerce and industry sector, or it was the public health sector, or it was human resource development. Across various sectors, this particular report has mentioned, this index has mentioned that a strong improvement was being witnessed across all these sectors. So for example, when we talk about the agriculture and allied sector, the universal coverage has been achieved under the Kisan Credit Card Scheme, Soil Health Card Scheme, and the animal vaccinations. Now when we talk about the commerce and industry sector, once again there was improvement in the GST registration. When we talk about the human resources development sector, the percentage of the schools with the drinking water, that is basic facilities which must be provided to the students of the school, then under this particular aspect as well an improvement was being seen, as this particular report states that when we talk about the percentage of schools with access to computers and the number of children served has also increased, and 10 districts, see, 10 districts have shown 100% skill trainings imparted to the registered students. And when we talk about the basic amenities as well, like drinking water, separate toilets and electricity facilities, the facilities regarding this particular part has also increased. Okay, now when we talk about the public health sector, then this report states that there was a full immunization represents a significant success story. As percentage of the primary health centers, the sub-centers converted to health and wellness centers. Now when we move towards some other important findings and some other important sectors, then here you can see about the public infrastructure and utilities sector. And once again it shows an improvement, as it states that housing for all scheme indicates more than 50% of the sanctioned houses being grounded in the 12 districts. Apart from that, there were 2 districts which have achieved 100% access to the safe drinking water, and the name of those districts are Srinagar and Gandarbal. Apart from that, there were 18 districts which have achieved 100% access to the sanitation facilities, improvements in the households, electrified and construction of all weather roads. So that means in the terms of whether it was in the terms of providing sanitation facilities, whether it was in the terms of human resource development, whether it was in the terms of agriculture and allied sector, or the public infrastructure and utilities sector, all these sectors have witnessed a strong improvement in the performance of all these districts as per this District Good Governance Index 2021, in which Jammu and Kashmir has become the very first Union Territory of India where this District Good Governance Index has been released. And when we talk about the social welfare and development sector, then once again there was increased at its cited 80% of the Aadhaar seeding of the ration cards. Okay, and when we talk about the financial inclusion, then once again under Jan Dhan Yojana, the financial inclusion has achieved a universal coverage in this particular Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And some more important points have been mentioned here, you can go through them. So my dear learners, so that was all the important key findings of this particular index. Now when we talk about that, what exactly will be the impact of this District Good Governance Index? See, as we have seen that it has been released for the Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, now as a result, this particular index is going to slowly expand to all other states, to the districts of all other states. And what exactly will be the result? It will induce the competition among these particular districts on the good governance, and that is how it is really going to lead to improvement in the district machinery, making the districts more result oriented, and hence the improvement in the overall governance of the states as well as in India. So that is why this particular district good governance index was really very important. And the very most important point that you are required to remember is that Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has become the very first Union Territory in India to have this district good governance index. So that was all from this particular index, and I really believe that it is very much clear to all of you that what was the releasing body, what exactly this index tells about, and what are the major key rankings, why Jammu and Kashmir was being chosen, and apart from that, what are the key findings of this particular index. As we have seen a strong improvement in all the important sectors in these districts of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So now let's move on to the very first practice question for all of you, which is based on this district good governance index. And here what you are required to do, you are required to identify the correct statement in relation with the district good governance index by on the basis of the analysis and on the basis of the discussion that we have till now in our today's discussion. Okay, so when we talk about the very first statement, it says that it was prepared by DARPG, which is correct, in collaboration with the Jammu and Kashmir. Now the second statement says that Jammu and Kashmir has become India's second UT to have district good governance index. But as per our discussion, Jammu and Kashmir is the very first union territory which had this district good governance index. So that's why the second statement becomes incorrect. Now let's move on to the third statement. It says that it has been released for 20 districts of the UT of the Jammu and Kashmir, which measures the diversity of the governance model in the Union Territory. And this particular statement is also correct. So the right answer for the question will be none other than option D, that is both statement first and third are correct. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. And see, this is one of the questions which can be framed, but there are various other questions as well which can be framed from this first district good governance index. Okay, so now let's move on to the googly question. And today the googly question is based on the National Water Awards which were being released recently, and I have taken a detailed discussion on this particular part. I will also add the link above. You can watch it and then you can answer this particular question in the comment section below. Now when we talk about the homework question from the previous session, so in the previous session the homework question was about one of the programs that was named as Mana Voru Mana Badi program, that is our village, our school, and you were required to identify the name of the state which has approved this particular program, and it was none other than option E, that is Telangana, which has recently approved the set of guidelines for the implementation of the above mentioned program. So that was the homework question. And now when we talk about the star performers from a previous session, and here is the list of all the star performers, that is Janani, Mintu Kumar, Jack, Sanket and Yukti Gupta. All these people are the star performers. And if you also want your name to be mentioned here, then you are requested to answer the homework question that we have asked in this particular session, that is which district was at the bottom of the list in the very first district good governance index. Okay, so please answer the question in the comment section below. And my dear learners, that was all from the today's session. I really believe that today's session was useful and fruitful to all of you. If you have any queries, kindly drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in, and you can also call us at 814-620-7241. So thank you for joining us. Wish you all happy learning.